about like maybe it's a South Park episode or a Simpsons episode. All the immigrants, they're taking our jobs. Canadians are leaving Canada in record numbers. And in 2024, we're going to have a banger of a year. We've just come out of the third quarter. We don't have numbers on the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But it is the fourth largest exodus of Canadians in 73 years.
Okay.
Now be careful what I said, right? It's the fourth largest. It's not the most largest.
Yeah.
But there is an increase
Okay.
in people leaving. We did a video on new Canadians leaving. Why are they leaving? So there's some obvious reasons: taxation, job opportunities. It's expensive to live here. Family returning, healthcare, weather. Maybe a lot of people didn't like the weather. Sorry, it's Canada. It's cold. Things like that, right?
Not always cold.
So we covered all the reasons why people were leaving, but in that why new Canadians are leaving Canada, we also talked about it's a record number of immigrants coming to Canada.
Right.
So those ones that are leaving have, on average, been in Canada between 1 to 7 years.
Okay.
So now with our federal government, immigration policy is to get over 500,000 new immigrants, new Canadians. Well, I guess they're not Canadians yet. New immigrants to Canada in 2024.
Okay.
So as they've been steadily increasing, we've had a steady increase of new immigrants leaving. It went from like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 last year.
Okay.
Was like 40,000 people. So maybe, we're probably going to see a number between 40 and 50,000. But this is about Canadians leaving. So that third quarter.
So hang on.
Yeah.
So tell me first of all, how are we defining Canadians leaving? They have citizenship?
Permanent residents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or citizenship.
Or citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick on that too much, right?
Yeah.
Because when I do end up talking about people who are non-permanent residents, I'll get into that.
Yeah.
A little bit later from now, right?
Yeah.
So where did I leave off? I go so fast.
Third quarter.
Third quarter, we had 73,000. It's not immigrate, it's emigrate, leave Canada.
Okay, yeah.
So that's the fourth largest, exodus in the last 73 years.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting. So
Sure.
You would think, from all of those reasons that we quickly mentioned above, I want to let you know more about non-permanent residents that have come to Canada in 2023 because the numbers are out.
Okay.
So new immigrants were around 465,000, which is a really high amount. We're not used to this many new immigrants coming to Canada.
Right.
We had some refugees, not a significant number. A post-second here on a learning visa, student visa, but this is where the numbers really come in. The student visa might actually come down because it's getting harder to get them here. Temporary workers.
Okay, yeah.
So if you look back in videos, we talked about this between refugees, students, non-permanent, they're here on a work permit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Work visa and immigrants. And even 2023 or 2022 would have been like a record number of 1 million new people came to Canada. The numbers came out, it's 2 million.
Wow.
Okay. So here might be some of the one of the reasons where with COVID I'm thinking about there's many digital nomads out there that might just decide they're Canadian, but they have some skills and they can make the money somewhere else and live, some kind of a idea what their dream life may be.
Sure.
But people would be thinking, I'm thinking about maybe it's a South Park episode or a Simpsons episode. All the immigrants, they're taking our jobs. That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to talk about the non-permanent residents, as in people here on work visas.
Okay.
So the other remaining probably 1 million or a little bit more than 1 million here are on work visas. What kind of jobs do they take? Now we talked about people coming to Canada and challenges coming here.
Yeah.
If they're a nurse, a doctor, an engineer,
Yeah.
those licenses might not transfer over as easily.
Yes.
So I want to just quickly highlight where are they working and how much are they working? So off the top, they work less hours typically than Canadians, than permanent residences. Like
Okay.
80% of
Okay.
the hours.
Okay.
So it's considerably lower.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking like, keeping track of the market and what is the unemployment rate? So where does that fit in, right? Because I can't remember everything. I've got the top 10 jobs that non-permanent residents go to.
Okay.
The number one, and I'll be quick. Nurses' aides, orderlies, and patient service associates.
Okay.
Those are probably licensed nurses in other countries, different languages, things
Sure.
like that, right? Number two, light duty cleaners,
Okay.
material handlers, laborers in food and beverage processing, transport truck drivers, food counter attendants, kitchen helpers, related support occupations, delivery service drivers, and door-to-door distributors.
Okay.
Retail salespersons and visual merchandisers, don't know what that is, but I know what a retail person is. Security guards and security service related occupations, and other customer and information service representatives.
Okay.
So these are not, even those, I'll put it this way. Many people come here that are overqualified for the positions that they work in.
Yes.
What does this also do? There's a really long article that I read about Canada's GDP. So, because these are typically lower paid work than what they might be qualified for back in their home countries, it reflects on a lower GDP per capita in Canada.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how that's counted in unemployment numbers.
Sure.
But that could also be misrepresenting our unemployment numbers.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. So all of these categories that are the top 10 categories, you need certain qualifications, and now we're short skilled work, licensed work that we still see an unemployment rate of somewhere between 5 and 7%,
Yeah.
depending what area we might be talking about.
Yeah.
So it's a little skewed. It's like, wait a minute, we have all these people come in, we have all these temporary workers come in, but our unemployment rate still seems to, it's not higher than, let's say, 2018, 2019. Obviously, 2020 took a huge dip,
Right.
and then during COVID, it kind of went up a little bit, and then it's kind of subsided, and now it's starting to increase a little bit. But we have two things happening at the same time. We have highest immigration levels, temporary workers, and then we have our unemployment rate slightly going up. I know all the baby boomers haven't retired yet,
Right.
but there is an exodus of skilled work.
Yeah. It's happening.
Upper level management.
Yeah. It's happening now, or in the process of happening. I just had this conversation with somebody in a senior management position.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm younger, but he said the other kind of comparables of my position in the industry in top management, he said some of them are pushing 80.
Oh wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, late 60s, mid 70s. He said they're basically ready to ride off into the sunset, and they're doing it because they love to do it or whatever the reason is, but
They're holding on a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure, you'll see the headlines, all these people leaving Canada. Canada is not a horrible place to live. Is
Yeah.
it perfect? Do we have problems? Yes, we do. But it's globally, it's very politically stable.
Yeah.
The crime is still very, even compared to the United
Yeah,
States, and the
relatively
United
speaking,
States
yeah.
is still not a bad place.
yeah.
But
So
the
I think,
headline doesn't always say the whole story.
yeah, I was going to
right?
say, I think, what we see from this is it the fourth highest? Sure it is. But we have the highest immigration numbers right now. So certainly there's going to be higher numbers going back home if they're not staying here.
Yes. And we
Right.
see unemployment rates inching up, but it's what kind of work are we missing?
Right.
Right? We need more skilled labor come to Canada. Or if it's that skilled management, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.